Welcome to the latest episode of Talks with Dorks, your go-to geek podcast. Don't forget, we are on the road to our next wrestling show, which is Slam by Me, and all the announcements are coming out, so check the socials. But we're not here to talk wrestling today. We're here to talk books, because I've got a special guest, a very dear friend of mine, who has just released her first novel, and we're going to talk all about that, her journey to get to that novel, and about books, because who doesn't love a good read? So please welcome my very special guest, author of Dead Things Grow Here, this book right here, Chelsea Knight. Chelsea, welcome to Talk to Dorks.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm going to keep telling you this, Chelsea. Like, I'm going to keep going for the exclusives with you, because once you blow up and you've got all famous, I'll always have that. I had the first. I had the first little interview for TikTok. I've got the first signed copy of the book, and now I get the first podcast with you.
When I get all famous.
That's it. But again, this obviously, all jokes aside, like I said to you, let's have some fun, because you obviously have now got your book out.
Yeah.
You're on this amazing journey, which is something you've probably dreamt of for a long time. So why not, as a friend that's got something that you can come and talk about it, let's utilise this, get you used to this before it becomes everyday occurrence. Sometimes, trust me, Chelsea, it's going to happen where you'll have 10 people lined up for doing podcasts in one day.
Oh,
Because people are going to want to talk to you about your novels. So let's start with that, shall we?
Okay.
Dead Things Grow Here is out now. And yes, please don't hate me. I'm still getting through Stand By Me. I'm nearly at the end, so I'm dying to get started on this book. But it's out there to the world. Your first novel. Tell me about it. Tell me what this book is. What inspired you? Why did you choose horror? Why did you choose this story?
Oh, that's a big question, because there's so many answers to that. So, I loved horror. I've always loved horror. Always, since I can remember, since I was a child, I've loved horror. I've been obsessed with horror movies, horror books, everything. I've always been trying to find what would scare me the most next.
Yes.
And it was like a little competition to myself. So I've always loved horror. And then, like, we travel America a lot, so we go through different hikes along the different mountains. We do a lot of small towns in America, and it has got so many stories sitting there waiting to be told, like so many. And a lot of places that you go to, it can be quite eerie, especially when you're in the mountains and it's like the old abandoned things in the mountains, and a lot of that like all the views and stuff, it makes you think, oh, I wonder if, but then what if, that sort of thing. So a lot of that got my brain flowing with different stories about forests and mountains and things. And then but what solidified this particular story was we were creating escape rooms, ironically, and we were sitting there and we were brainstorming ideas for a new scary escape room, and I thought, oh great, like, love this, because I can brainstorm my scary ideas and my horror ideas. And I came up with something that was so obscure that you just could not make that an escape room. It just was not possible. But I was sitting thinking about it. It was obviously slightly different to the final story I wrote, but I was sitting thinking about it for a long time, thinking, what a shame we couldn't make this into an escape room. What a shame, because that idea was just there. And so I sat and thought, oh, I'm just going to write it. Let's just write it out. Let's just explore, like, how the characters would go, how the story would flow and things. And I just didn't stop.
That's what's great to hear, like you say. So, if anyone doesn't know, Chelsea is involved in many businesses around Chelmsford in Essex with her husband Sam, both good friends of mine. And you've got, like you say, you've got spirits, you've got the games room, the game inside of it. You've got escape rooms where that simple thing at work inspired you. And I suppose writing had been something you'd like doing because you love reading for a long time. So, with that in sense, like, it probably urged you to do something you were deep down wanting to do.
Yes. Definitely.
You've always loved reading, you've always loved writing as such.
Yeah.
It gave you something. Well, hang on, what if I turned this into this? And it inspired, and that's great, because look where you're at now. There is a book out there.
Crazy.
You can go, like I told you when we did that little interview, which was really cool, when I went into Waterstones, the fact that I could go in there and ask them about your book, my friend's book, that they were like, yeah, no, we haven't got it yet, but it's coming to store.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Right? Like, how cool is that? Like, something you created is in Waterstones.
It's crazy. It is crazy because like before this as well, like I wrote a lot of little stories, a lot of like short stories, or even just really really short stories that would be like 1,000, 2,000 words just to hit like the horror marks, just for myself, just because I enjoy doing them, and just because I have an idea. Like if I've read a book or I've watched something that gives me an idea, I just need to get it out. So I'll write something little. I've never written a full novel before, so this was my first full novel, and yeah, it's just crazy.
But like you say, what did you ever think I could write a full novel? Or, right, exactly. So
No.
you knew you could do it. You could write stories, but when you had that determination and you went, do you know what? This is going to be something. There was a moment that made you go, this could be something. Look where it's led to now. Now,
Yeah.
again, you're sitting here having a podcast with me. You're doing stuff like that, which all of us that into this, me doing this podcast, me doing the wrestling show and stuff like that. It's a dream, isn't it? It's a fascination of something I've always been inspired to do. Reading books, writing books, reading. Like when I saw you Saturday when I was outside for the Comic-Con, you had a Stephen King jumper, and it took me a while to realise. I knew that font, I knew what you had on, but it didn't twig because it was just a cool Stephen King jumper that you had on. There's people like that. Like, think of it like that. In the same breath, you are a horror writer like Stephen King now.
Oh, that's
Okay.
crazy. It's crazy.
Nothing's been made into movies yet, but we've just had the first book released. It's all the beginning of the journey, and that's what the focus. And take it from someone who last night went to see his favourite movie of all time that he's seen 1,000 times on the TV. I went to see it in the cinema, which is a Stephen King book. It is. Imagine, just think of that. One day down the line, if you pursue this, you could people sitting there having conversations like, I went to see Chelsea's film that she wrote 40 years ago.
That is crazy, isn't it?
Like, not to blow your mind a little bit, but I suppose be proud of what you're doing, because we've both seen the reactions. I've got people, I've done my TikToks and I've got people messaging me saying, oh my God, I'm halfway through that book. It's unbelievable. And yes, I know you. When you've had reviews and that, there's been the odd one. You're always going to get that. But when you look at the percentage of positivity,
you know what? I think that's the hardest part I've had to get my head round, because I'm like the most
self-critical.
Self-critical person. I guess it's like watching yourself back on. I suppose if you're like an actor and you watch yourself back and it's like, oh no, like I can't, because a lot of actors can't watch themselves back, and I completely understand that.
Or if you've just done a podcast for the first time and I'm going to watch it, yeah.
But like reading my own work, so I've so like for example, at the moment when I'm writing something else at the moment, and I'm rereading the chapters that I wrote a few weeks ago, so I like to give it some time before I reread those chapters so I can pick up on, so my head's not writing that chapter at that point. So I'm rereading those chapters, and if it was somebody else, if somebody else had wrote them, I'd be like, that's absolutely fine. That's fine. I'd be like, oh, I love that sentence. That's great. But I wrote them, and I know I wrote them, and I'm the most self-critical person, and I think that's the hardest thing, because it sort of solidifies. If and people aren't going to like everything. Otherwise, there'd only be one movie made, because everyone likes the same thing. But it's the hardest thing to get your head around is, no, that's just my brain, and some people aren't going to like it, and some people agree with that.
It's natural for we all, like, especially, we all judge ourselves, don't we? Everybody judges themselves, and of course it is, because especially when you're doing something in such a public forum as well. The world, anybody around the world can see what you've done. That's daunting, because like you say, anybody can have an opinion, and because of the internet, everybody does have an opinion.
Of course, yeah.
And sometimes people are out there just to be spiteful, but at the end of the day, when you've got something, I mean, like I've seen people, they've looked at this, and it's just a cover that gives it away. Like, you obviously so much thought and heart and love went into it that, yeah, of course you're going to be nervous that people aren't going to like it, but trust me, people do like it. Like I said, when I knew this and you had that first copy of the book and we were in the office and you was like, oh, look, it's here. And I was like, oh, look. I read the back, and it was not, I could sit there and lie to you and fib you and say to you, oh, yeah, this was great, just because you're my friend. but I read it and it got me thinking. So the fact that, like I told you, it inspired me to go and buy Stephen King's The Body, which is turned into my favourite film, because
Yeah.
it reminded me of Stephen King. It reminded me of the things I loved. I mean, yeah, this isn't anything like Stand By Me, but there is an aura of similarity. This is innocent lads walking through train tracks and forests, and there is things that spark nostalgia and make you think about things, and that's what your book is doing for people already, because people are going, oh, I love this, and I guarantee you've already had people go, when's the next one?
Oh yeah, I have. I definitely have.
Right? So that's that feeling that you need to get used to, is because people are going to judge you all the way, but there's also going to be these people that want more. So get used to that. You're already writing book 2. Book
I
1's barely out in the shelves, but book 2's on its way. You're setting, like you said, you're setting up a universe, being smart with the way the world is. Don't just make individual stuff. Make sure they're connected in some. They're all in the same world, because you could have your own, instead of the MCU, we'd have the Chelsea CU.
Just horror side of it.
Yeah, I'm all here for that. I'm all here for that. Did you ever see Castle Rock or hear of the TV series Castle Rock with
I
Stephen
believe
King?
I've heard of it. I don't remember.
I see. I'd never fully watched it. I tried to, because it was really hard to get hold of over here. But Castle Rock, if you Stand By Me, is set in the town of Castle Rock.
Right.
Castle Rock it's a Stephen King. I don't think it was ever like an actual something he wrote, but it was all parts and parcels of his universe. There was a character in it that was something Chambers, which is a relative of Chris Chambers from Stand By Me. There was someone that was related to Pennywise, or so. It was all linked to all Stephen King's things, and that shows how good this guy has got. He's got all these books that they could interconnect them, and they were connected. You look at certain films, there are little hints of other things.
Well, doesn't he? He does in his books. Like in certain books, it'll mention like a place in the other one. It's all like a giant universe.
Prison is always Shawshank Prison and stuff like that, and it's fascinating. Okay, so Dead V's Grow Here. That's where we're at now. Where did it start? You said you've always been into books. You love Stephen King. You love horror novels. If you're a horror lover, who doesn't love Stephen King? But what was? Do you remember the first horror book that made you go, "Oh, that's pretty cool"? Do you remember?
It depends how far back you go. It's like originally when I guess year 1 and year 2, you'd read these, like the little rhymey books. And do you remember the one where it was like in the dark, dark house, in the dark, dark room?
Yeah.
I suppose that would be the first one, but the actual books that I've read, Goosebumps all the way.
I think, especially growing up, lucky for you, you're younger than me, but when Goosebumps first came out, they took over the world. Like, there's certain things around that time. There was Power Rangers on the telly and Goosebumps in the books. Goosebumps books were just like, they were horror for kids, weren't they? They were horror for kids. That they did. I'm not gonna lie to you, they scared the crap out of me. Some of them, like some of the stories, were a bit much.
They were, weren't they, for kids? But in a way that obviously wasn't graphic. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It just got your mind thinking, and that's what I really loved about Goosebumps. Is yes, and some of them, there was the actual monster and there was something, but a lot of them was the fear, and it's the fear of the unknown, isn't it? That's what it is, and most of the time a lot scarier than the monster itself is the fear.
And they always ended on a cliffhanger. That's what always stressed me about Goosebumps. Like, why can't we just have a happy ending at this and just be really, really? There's always just a way of ending it to make you go, oh.
No happy endings in horror.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because how many Freddy Krueger films has there been? Like, when they've literally had one called Freddy's Dead, and then they brought him back a year later. Like, they can always find a way to bring back the horror, and that's for me where horror books I could cope with. I always could do horror books. I started with Goosebumps. I told you about the Point Horrors. I was doing the Fear Street, which if you haven't had a look at that 99 Fear Street.
I've seen the Netflix. Is it series or film? I've seen it. But I've seen that.
They're really good, and not like the Goosebumps films. They're not actually the stories that we grew up with. They're just using elements of it to I suppose use the name in a sense. But what was that book I was talking about?
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Oh, Fear Street. So like Goosebumps, Fear Street, and like those things went on to inspire me to read adult books. I remember my mum having a big copy of It, like hardback copy of It. I still have never read it because it petrified me that, like, when people were like, when I finally got to the age where I could deal with watching the films,
Yeah.
and I realised that the end of It was like, I've been scared of this clown for years, and it turns out he's a really bad looking robot spider at the end.
Yeah.
I heard that the book was more graphic. I've always been petrified to read it. But like horror films were a different thing for me. I struggled with them until I was 12 years old. When I first moved to Dagenham with my mum, I had a sleepover with my friends, and we watched Scream, the first Scream.
Oh yeah.
And what made me sort of, it turned things around for me, because Scream, realistically, is the most petrifying, because that one can happen. That everything about Scream can happen. That is a horror series. All it takes is some idiot that's obsessed with movies to go around killing people.
Yeah.
So hang on. So why am I scared of a geezer that's burnt up like Freddy Krueger and a geezer in Hobbs and Miles like Jason? It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But then I was able to watch horror films, still scare me, but realise, hang on, the one that's more scary is the one I like the most, Scream, because that one can literally be anybody.
Yeah. It's like when they're hiding in the house and you get the creaky floorboard and you know it's coming, they can't breathe, and it builds the tension because it could happen. You feel that and you can relate to that. Yeah.
And I discovered that the actual films that were scary to me were ghost stories. Ghosts are because again, ghosts, you don't know. Ghosts, are they real or are they not real? Like you say, that creaky floorboard. When you're sitting in your room and you're writing your book, your horror stories, or you're reading one of them, and you hear a creak, you go, oh, yeah. Just checking, or when you sort of, if you're in bed next to your partner or something, I just check you're there.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Wake you up a bit. Yeah.
Okay, Goosebumps. What one stand out? Which one? Do you remember what your favourite ones were?
So the one that stands out for me the most, I remember the doll one.
Like the Living Dummy.
Yes, yeah. Love that. It's sort of like a kid's version of Chucky, isn't it? Really. And the sponge, the potato, the something, I can't remember what it was.
We had this conversation the other day, didn't we?
I've forgotten again, but it was something. It lives under the sink or something. It had the teeth.
Yeah.
Potato?
Yeah.
Was it a sponge?
I think I'm sure it's a sponge.
It's a sponge. It lives under the sink.
Why are they called Goosebumps? I've put that. So why are they called Goosebumps? Because they're actually talking about Goosebumps. Sponge. Let me find it. I'll think the name of it. I know which one it is. So we go.
Oh, it came from beneath the sink, was it?
It came from beneath the sink. That's it.
That to me was terrifying. I don't know why that one got me so much, but that was terrifying to me.
I think that some of the books, I mean, like I said, the original books I remember from the 90s are the ones that had kind of like this, they always, whatever it was coming out of the kind of different coloured slime in the background.
Yeah.
That was the version of the books, and then they changed it to like the more American style ones. And that's what I'm saying. You used to see them books like Monster Blood. That book series, absolutely brilliant. Say Cheese and Die. A camera that will take your picture and kill you used to freak me out, and I could read them over and over. Stay Out of the Basement. The Dad. That is like them books. I read them so many times, and I'm sure. I know I've got some here, but I bought Jacob some, and he still hasn't read them. Because I took him to school, and they had the book fair, and I was so fascinated because it was exactly like I remember. It was the big.
They still have Goosebumps.
Still have Goosebumps, and they're still, these book fairs are still in the big metal wheelie things. I was like, no way! How have they not modernised this? It's still exactly like the same in the 90s. In big things, they open up and they charge you extra for books just to make you buy a book. But he wanted some football books, and I was like, Goosebumps. I was like, we're getting these. You are having these. He's like, all right, yeah, I'll read them. And they've been sat on his shelf ever since. But to be fair, Jacob probably wouldn't like scary stuff like that. But Goosebumps, like I say, we had this discussion again when we were talking about Goosebumps. The TV series of Goosebumps, which were the ones where it was kind of meant to be the actual stories from the books, I struggled with. They were cool, but I loved them books so much that they just didn't live up to my imagination.
And that's always the hardest thing. When you read something first, you know, especially stories like Goosebumps, especially horror as well, where a lot of it is so descriptive and you have to build up that fear, that nervousness in your mind, and you create the whole world in your brain, and then you watch something from how someone else had perceived it or how they've made it. It is never going to be the same.
It's actually like, it's like watching, say, like a remake of your favourite film on a bad budget. You're like, what? This ain't, nah. You've ruined it. You've
Yeah.
actually ruined what you. I did it with the Twilight books. I randomly got into Twilight just before the first film come out, and I did all 4 books in the space of a couple of months, and I was like, oh my god, these are amazing. And then the films come out, I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, especially towards the end. Like, annoyingly, I struggled with the films, but I actually, because everyone was, a lot of like lads my age were like, that Robert Pattinson, no, he'll never be okay.
Yeah.
This Captain Sparkle vampire. I was like, do you know what? No, he was the one thing I actually liked
Mm.
through the process of it. Watching him grow as an actor through them films was the best part. He held it together for me, and then he became Batman. But that's a different story. But I love reading them books, and I was so excited to see the films. I was like, they're going to do this justice. Of course it is. And then just it wasn't.
Very rarely does it.
Weird. Like, it was really gloomy. I found the films really gloomy compared to the books. There was a different vibe to it, and
Yeah.
again, it's that reading something and spoiling it in your own mind. Like,
Yeah.
there's certain books I remember, like them point horror ones I was saying. I'd have loved to have seen them turned into something, but also kind of like, I'm kind of glad they live on, and like, I'm glad that there isn't many people that know it, because it was my fantasy, me reading that book and building that world in my head. Is there anything like that with you? Is there any books that you go back and go, yeah, well, I'm glad they never turned this into something?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of horror that I think is fantastic and should be made into something at least. Like, well, as I was an older teenager, I got away from Goosebumps a bit. I read a lot of James Herbert,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Rats, and I thought that was the first, I suppose, graphic horror book that I'd read, because obviously Goosebumps aren't, you know, graphic
Yeah.
for children. But Rats was, and that was the first book that I thought, oh, okay, horror can actually really do something. Horror can actually, you can actually say stuff like that on the page. You know, you can actually describe that stuff. You know, and I thought that baffled me when I first read it. I thought, oh, you only meant to imagine the terror, but no, they've written what is happening, and that book will always stick with me, because that was the first graphic horror novel that I read. Obviously now, after reading a lot of extreme horrors and stuff like that, you know, that was
That was just a stepping stone.
as a young teenager, it was crazy to me. But there's actually one series, and ironically, it's not horror. It was a fantasy series. It's the only fantasy I've ever read, and it was called the Marked series, and it was about Oklahoma vampires, and but not vampires as you know them, but they've got the tattoo on the head, and they're the most powerful people, and they go to this vampire school basically, and it was a whole series, and they've just announced like that they're making a movie of, I think it's going to be like the first 2 books put together is going to be the first movie or whatever, and I'm dreading it in a way. I'm excited because I want to relive the series that I loved, but I know I can remember what it's like in my head. I can remember,
I learned a lesson because, like, being a superhero fan, obviously, I loved comics as well. I'm a big comic book reader, and one of my favourite comics of all time was The Death of Superman, which is 1990 series. They killed Superman. Like, Superman should die, but they killed him. This monster, and then they, in one of the most recent series of Superman, Batman v Superman, they kind of went with that story. And spoilers, Chelsea, it is a 10-year-old film now, but they killed Superman in a similar way, that the same monster and all that. And yes, the monster didn't look like the monster I knew, but again, and it wasn't perfect. But at that point, because I had gone through the thing with Twilight, I've not been happy. I just looked at it as a sense of, at least, if they don't ever do this story again, I've visualized, I've seen Superman die on the screen. Like, my favorite comic, in a version, I've seen that happen. And that's cool, because I read the comic and I've seen it do it, but they've also made it graphic. There's literally a bit where he gets a spear through him. It's like Superman is getting bigger. It wasn't perfect, but at least they tried to do justice to something I loved, and I saw it in a different way than. So I've had a lot of people go, "Oh, that wasn't the Superman comic," but it's never going to be.
No.
It's that you've got that we're saying that about books. Like it's never going to live up to what's in your head, but
No.
you learn to appreciate. Like, for example, someone comes to you now and goes, "Hello, I'm from Sony Pictures, and I'd like the rights to your film." Obviously, you're going to have to go, "I want sort of creative control to make sure this is faithful,"
Yeah.
but it may not be exactly
Of course,
what
no.
Chelsea wrote. Of course not.
That's why they say it's like based on a book, isn't it? Based on a book by.
Yeah, based
And,
on
yeah.
exactly, and
I think that's the hardest thing, isn't it? That
I
must be so
suppose, but as
hard.
the author,
Yeah.
as much as you go, all right, this isn't what I did. Hang on, they're making a blockbuster about this little book I wrote. You've got to see the bonuses of when you look at that, you go, oh yeah, do what you want. Make me millions, that's fine. But it's in people interpret it. Someone that comes and likes your story, likes what you've done, and that's what you got to look at, is that they don't always do it. They're doing it. Look at Harry Potter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there going, why are they making Harry Potter again? It's like the kids are still kids, you know, they're only just turning adults themselves and making a book because they found a different way of doing it. They want, yes, it probably is a massive money grab.
Yeah, yeah.
It,
Of course
but
it is.
it looks darker. I've never been a Harry Potter fan, but I watched the trailer because I have seen all the films. My ex-partner was massive into Harry Potter. We watched them all. I've been to the studios, and even though it wasn't for me, I was fascinated because. Of course, it's still movies, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love movies. It doesn't matter that I haven't seen, like, I'm not a fan of the films, but seeing Hogwarts or seeing the Hall, like, this is pretty cool, to be fair. Like, still that. But they're redoing something and turning that into something else that continues the love of what people want for this fantasy in this world. And like I said, you're at the beginning of this with your stuff. People are starting to get into it.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you said that Harry Potter's going a bit darker now, because I've noticed, and I think it's for a lot of things as well. I've noticed, especially Universal Studios in America, where they've opened their I can't remember exactly what it's called, like their dark world, and it's all like not so just much horror, but it's the twisted side of things. It's like a whole dark. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember.
Because they've got the Universal monsters, haven't they? They've got the Universal monsters, and then there's. I know what you mean. I know exactly.
It's recently opened the park of it, and then it's like the dark version. And I think it's so popular at the moment. Horror has definitely had a comeback since we were kids, when we read the Goosebumps and stuff. A massive comeback. And obviously, I get things have trends and stuff, but I think
that's the thing. I think with horror, with books and movies, originality went out the window for a long time, because what could you do? You had the horrors. There was Freddy Krueger's, and there was Jason. There was Michael Myers. They were dominating.
So separated with that, yeah.
Yeah. What do we do with this? Then they started the stuff like Scream or Blair Witch, where it was more realistic stuff. Blair Witch, all right, it wasn't realistic, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if you were around for that, but people were genuinely convinced that was real.
I could never watch it. It gave me motion sickness because it's on the camera. I've tried. I can't watch it.
It is a difficult watch, but that was the whole point when it was like it was meant to be like. I had a book like, and this book was like, again, you read the book and it was kind of like telling you stories. They really made the lore of how this thing came about, like stories from the 50s with this guy called Rusting Parr or something. They really had it, made you think, fucking hell, is this real? Did these three people, because them three actors in that thing, they weren't in anything for a long time.
Yeah,
they were paid a lot of money to make people believe they were dead.
Yeah.
And that's what's insane.
It's Paranormal Activity, isn't it? Because that's a sort of newer version of Blair Witch. They did a similar thing with that, didn't they? With like
horror changed. Like it's like you had the side of horror where you had the screams and the found footage and the paranormal activities. Then you had the Saws, where it was a gore fest, which I don't mind a Saw.
See, my favourite series. That is my
Saws are great because they're clever, but it was kind of like, it got to a point, I think it was like, it's just now about how big the kills can be. It's not about the twists, because you got to end of every one of them going, how the fuck is he in it?
Where's he come from? Yeah, how's he back again?
So So the guy that we hang on from the first one.
Oh wait, no, we've gone back in
felt
time.
really
This is
sorry for.
before
He's now
now.
behind it all. What's going on?
I lost the plot. Literally,
Yeah,
lost the
they
plot
got
at some
wasted. They
point,
wasted
so
the fact that like what's his name, John. He dies. He's dying of cancer in the second one, and he's dead.
he dies in every episode, and in
But
every.
then the 10th one, he's still in it. It's like, hey,
Have you seen the newest one? Have you seen?
no, I don't.
Oh, you should. You should see the newest one.
Yeah, I think that it's either the last one or two. I'm not up to, because again, it's kind of like, do you know what? I kind of know where this is going. John's still alive somehow. Someone's wearing his skin at this point. I don't know.
Me and Sam went to see it in the cinema. Obviously, it's not really Sam's sort of movie. He's not. He likes horror, but he's not a massive, let's go and see it in the cinema sort of horror fan. But I am, and I had to go and see that. I love it. I've always loved it.
My missus ain't a big horror fan. Chelsea, we've got each other. This is just let them know. Look, horror films, we'll go together. I'll absolutely. Yeah. I'll scream.
Good horror movies coming out this year, actually. I don't know if you've seen Backrooms. They're doing a Backrooms.
Yeah.
Movie. That I'm excited about. I'll see how they do that.
Yeah, there's.
That freaks me out.
I'll be honest. I mean, overall, obviously, I think this year for movies is one of the best in a long time. There's all the geeky stuff coming out, but then there's all these other films. Like obviously, Michael's coming out next week. Oh my God. I don't know if you know, Chelsea. You might have heard me play music for a little while now, but I like Michael Jackson.
I thought so.
There's so much, and when it comes to horror, again, like I said, I feel like there was a period of, like, especially when it comes to the movie side of things, it got a bit stale. Like
I think everyone was obsessed with fantasy, and it was Marvel. It was so the other one, DC. It was very fantasy, very superhero-y for a long time. With Big Bang Theory being like the biggest sitcom ever, and it's fantastic. But I think it was very superhero-y, and that's great. Like that's fantastic. That's great.
As a superhero fan, it was fantastic. Yeah. But even we got bored. Even we we were on the podcast going, like, it was all right when there was 1 or 2 Marvel movies. Now there's 4 Marvel movies this year and 15 series to watch. Like, I can't keep up. Like, and I am not up to date with most of it. Yeah. Like, it's too much to take in. Like, give me something else. Like, we refer to it as the term of superhero fatigue.
Yes.
Like, I love my superheroes, and I'm always going to be a superhero fan. But I've had a lot to deal with for the last 10 years with that. Like, I've seen a lot of men in spandex, and as much as I love Batman and Power Rangers and wrestling and men in spandex, I need a break. Give me something scary.
Dark versions of the superheroes, like the Umbrella Academy. Have you watched that?
I've not watched it, but it's it's one of them on my.
Oh, you'd love that. Yeah.
Like The Boys. The Boys was something.
That, but I've heard really good things about that.
Oh, The Boys. There's a funny story about the first time I watched The Boys. It was, again, I think it came out during lockdown. We were doing the podcast, and my mate kept saying to me, "You'll love this. Bit more of a grown-up superhero." I was like, yeah. And Brad, my stepson, who's now 17, would have been 11, 10 at the time. And I was like, "Oh, Brad, there's this new TV series, The Boys, superheroes. Do you want to watch it with me?" He's like, yeah, all right then. So we put it on, we start watching it, and one of the first things you see, there's a character called A-Train who's meant to be like the Flash. He runs really fast. Yeah. And there's this guy standing on the side of the road holding his girlfriend's hand, and this A-Train runs through her.
Someone else has told me about that scene before. I knew you were going with that.
And I was like, oh. Brad was like, okay. I was like, "You're right." He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, it's a bit much. Mm-hmm. Cut to about 5 minutes later, this character is then upset because his girlfriend's been blown up. Yeah. He meets this guy who takes him to a superhero sex club.
Oh my God.
Like, As you walk in, I've got my 10-year-old stepson there.
Still watching it with him?
Yeah, I'm still watching it. He's walking, and there's this couple that, like, they're flying, and, like, she's riding him. And it's like, I don't know if it's okay. But then what made it all, Chelsea, is the funniest thing. There was their version of Ant-Man. So there's this little fella on a table, and he takes a running dive off this table into a woman's Fafalina. Brad screamed and ran out the room. I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry, Brad. Then he turned 13, puberty hit, and he's like, I watched them all.
Watch that again, yeah.
I watch them late at night when I'm on my own. It was that bit when we'd see the woman explode. It was like, oh, I don't know. Then you get to this club, and I'm like, Maybe. Oh. And he's going, ah!
Oh, bless him.
Oh my God. I was like, yeah. And then I text my mate Ash. I was like, Brad, you could have told me this. I was like, this weren't for kids. He went, why are you watching that with Brad? I said it was an adult superhero TV show. I was like, yeah, but I didn't realise.
Adult super, yeah.
There's adult and then there's adult. Yeah, there's triple X rated adult. This was like kinky superhero porn, which was not what I was expecting.
No.
Oh,
I feel like every angle of superheroes that possibly could be done has been tried and done at the moment. There will be more. There will be different styles of it, but I just absolutely love that now that's sort of not died down, but it's taken its moment. It's taken a break. Horror's coming back, and
Yes.
obviously you always see that. You see that in fashion, the trends, the music, obviously the trends, and it always things go and they come back. And you think, why is that back? But horror has definitely had a comeback, and I love it.
And then what a perfect time to become an author when horror's making its comeback, right?
I know.
Up here for thinking. That's where the business brain comes in. So, okay, back to Dead Things Grow Here then. This is out there. The world knows all about this book. You are writing novel 2.
Yes.
What's the process now? Like you're gonna write number 2. When have you got a plan of when you aim to have that come out?
So I'm literally stuck between like two things at the moment. It's really difficult because there are so many different processes of publishing and writing a book and getting it out there to the world. And I did try and query agents with my first one, and I wasn't successful after about 6 months. That's why I went down the self-publishing route, which happens to a lot of people. Obviously, getting an agent and being published by a big publisher, it's a dream for everybody, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's not going to happen for everybody. Unfortunately, that is just what it is. There's only so many agents, so many publishers, and so many authors, So it's only going to happen for a select few. But I'm nearly finished with writing this one now.
Wow. Okay.
But, obviously, I've got a lot of editing to do because I'll write and I think I'm writing a sentence, and then I'll reread it and I think, what was I saying? So I've got a lot of editing to do. But then I'll have to put it out to some beta readers, and then they'll tell me if they think, if, for example, a beta reader is, maybe if I said that she was wearing a pink T-shirt in the first chapter, and the last chapter she ended up wearing a blue T-shirt, and they're like, well, that doesn't, how did that happen? They find plot holes, they think, that doesn't actually make sense, or that dialogue.
They're there to criticise your work for your benefit.
Yeah. I want more criticism, and that's where I want the criticism.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, it's better than having a Joe Blogs on the street.
And then it's not.
Yeah.
I've missed something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Baby, love what you're doing, but this needs to be,
Yeah, or that dialogue. Would they really be saying that in that situation, or would they just be running away screaming? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's good to sometimes when you read it, you know what you mean. When you say a lot of things, you know what you mean, but it might not come across to other people that way. So that's where beta readings come in really handy. So you do the beta readers. I'll then do the other edits again after that, because there'll be a lot to do after that. And then I've got to make a decision whether I'm self-publishing or I'm going to try and query agents again. Because if I try and query agents, that's going to be a 6 month to 8 month process. Or do I just self-publish again? I haven't decided yet.
I suppose that, the choice is you've now done it once, so you've got that behind you when you go to the agents. You've got the CV as such. Yeah, I've got one. This is how well this is done. You've got that. But then you've got the question then, is like, what if I do this way again? I've then got 2 that I come to them and go, I've now got 2. They've done well.
No, exactly.
Or there is also the point of, what if you did 3, and by that point, instead of you reaching out to them, they start going, actually, listen, we need this Chelsea Knight. She's doing all right,
Because what I really enjoyed about the self-publishing side of things is I had full creative control over the whole process. So, I could talk to my designer and we could get the cover exactly how I envisioned it in my brain. And, with self-publishing, you can do that because that's you are in complete control. If someone else wasn't sure on a part of your book, but you're like, no, that's important because it works I think that's important. The way that's written, some people might not get it, but it is important the way it's written. I can leave that in. it changes when you try and go for a pub.
Also, it's a win-lose situation, because to go to the next level, sometimes you have to give up a bit of the power, don't you? Like, there's always someone in these higher ups that wants the power over to have that control.
And obviously, they know, they're trained. They know the best of how to market, and that is their.
I wouldn't always say they know every. Sometimes you see these big companies, they think they make the right decisions, and then you go, no, that film could have been like Scream 7. Is all I'm going to say. They had an idea, they ruined it. But there's always, like, it's kind of like, I can do. There's only so much you can do on your own without having the backing, and obviously people want. What's the word? Investors and such to do. But again, going that route, it might not. It will be diluted and not be 100% mine.
Do you like trees? Do you like cards? Do you like frogs? What about all three together? Because Ryan has got the place for you. Tell him, Ryan.
How is this you doing a promo for Tree Frog Grading, our partner that grades cards and then gives us a discount code? That was just you throwing it over to me.
Yeah, it's called delegation.
It's called you having this information in front of you for 2 years and never paying attention to it. That's what that is.
Yeah, is it on Braille on my screen? No, it's not.
Good point. Tree Frog Grading is a partner we've had for 2 years now, and you can still get your cards graded and use the code TWD15 for 15% off. That's treefroggrading.com. And don't forget, if they've got any other promotion running on the website, you can add our code on top of that to save yourself even more money. Laferde, it's as easy as that. Get your cards graded. Get your cards graded at a discounted price with the code TWD15, treefroggrading.com.
Ribbit.
Laferde, this is how you do a promo. You ready?
Well, when's someone going to turn up to show me how to do it?
Wow. I'll show you how to do it. Our friend JC has got his very own clothing range. It's called Graffiti Washed. Laferde, you remember JC, don't you, when he came on the podcast?
I do, because we got a few messages and I thought, who is this guy?
Yeah, well, JC came on the podcast and he told us all about his clothing range, Graffiti Washed. And with us, you can get 30% off by using the code TalksWithDorks30. Go check out his clothing range. It's fun, it's funky. Some people call it controversial. As long as you're talking about it, as long as you're buying it, and as long as you're wearing it. Graffiti Wash, Talks with Dorks 30 for 30% off. See? Easy as that, mate.
Speaking of controversial, it means you might be able to get some of your own clothes instead of wearing everyone else's.
Fair point. You've watched back any of our TDW shows recently?
Watched them back? I've done nothing but. I'm the guy editing all of them.
No, where would we find it? YouTube or...
Oh. Again, mate, like, you're part of this podcast. How do you not know that we have a Patreon page? You've got content on there that you made.
Yeah, but I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't see what I was doing.
It always goes back to the site. Kurt, you're quite good with this. Why don't you give Laferde the little rundown on how, where, and what is available on offer for him to get our Patreon page?
Kurt, do it in your announcer voice.
It is easy to find, even if you're visually challenged. And yes, I will do it in the announcer voice.
Get in.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that Talks with Dorks has its own Patreon page where you can find exclusive content recorded by our very own man who doesn't have a single clue what he's doing, the one and only Laferde. You can also see all of TDW's full wrestling events in all of their glory as they happen live, with exclusive match commentary and behind the scenes and backstage interviews as well, plus a whole heap more besides that. It's all available on the Talks with Dorks Patreon, patreon.com/TalkDorkPodcast.
See, Laferde, if you could, you've been around for 2 years and you still can't make an effort like that at all.
Well, if I was a goose, I'd have bumps right now. Just hearing Kurt with that announcer voice is just worth pissing you off every week.
Really? And did you know, Laferde, that you don't even have to pay for the first month? We have got a link that will be down below that you can get the first month free.
It means at the bottom of the video, not Australia.
What did I say?
Down below.
That's down under.
Not up here, it's not.
Fair enough.
Please subscribe, we need the money.
Find us at patreon.com/TalkDorkPodcast. 1 month free if you click the link below. Right, well, that was a word from our sponsors, unexpectedly, but that's what happens. But going back to it, Chelsea, I don't know. Like you say, there's two different ways you can look at it. You could really go for looking for the big agents and that. I don't know. Part of me thinks, no. For now, do the way you're doing it, because the CV gets better. It's like anything, is it? The CV gets better the more you do it, and the more you do it your way. Hopefully, you know, like I said, touch wood, by book 3, if someone hasn't already come to you, someone's going to come to you and go, hang on, this Chelsea Knight, you know, we might need to keep an eye on her because these books of hers are scaring the shit out of people and they're loving it. Let's go to approach it.
I already envisioned what this next cover is going to be, and I think I've got my heart set so much on what I'm envisioning. I think I'm more inclined to go down the self-publishing route again.
Yeah, as much as again, you've done it that way now, so why not stick to that process, like you say, to keep it and just see where it goes from there, because someone's going to notice. Of course, look, I'm not sitting here trying to float your own ego and tell you, but the passion, like I said, the feeling this book gives just by looking at it, I know it from first hand. And I said this, I could easily sit there and be fluffing your ego and go, Chels, I'm saying this just because not only are we friends, but I work for you as well. You and your husband pay me wages, so I'm going to make sure you feel great about this book. No, genuinely, there's been a reason why I've been obsessed with watching this happen for you, is because it's like, oh, this is good. This is like, of course, I'm not silly. I'm piggybacking off your success here a little bit. I'm getting the first podcast so I can have this. Of course, I'm not stupid. I'm a businessman. But also, you know what I'm saying? It's that I saw something. I was like, no, this is really good. This is a great idea. Like I said to you, the idea to bring you on for this podcast came to me while we were doing that little interview. Well, hang on, no. Let's get Chelsea on. I've got a podcast. Of course I have. Oh, now the book's falling. Of course. Like, we've never had an author as such come on. That's a great new subject to grasp, because I get to talk about horror books. Yes, I mean, yeah, okay, we could have done this with all the other guys on the podcast. Maybe one day when the book 2 comes out, I'll get you to do it with the other guys so you can tell them your stories. But you're following a dream, and that's something that I've always been fascinated about with stuff. Especially when it comes to pop culture, is watching people live out a dream, whether it's writing a book, starring in a film, watching a superhero film, or watching something that you love. It's a world that you are obsessed with.
Yeah.
And I love seeing people be obsessed with things and want to get to know things. There's someone out there, Chelsea, that's read your book and that's just become their favourite book. Think of it like that.
That's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. And the people, honestly, the people that have supported me on all my platforms, especially my ARC readers and stuff, have been absolutely fantastic. Like, I've met people through that are just so supportive. Well, we don't know each other, you know, but they are so supportive of you know, since I've launched the book and before. It's been crazy that, you know, people you don't know are, you know, singing your praises and shouting about it and telling their friends to read it, and it's so lovely. Everyone's been lovely.
And again, there's more you can do, and then something I can help you with, because thinking about it, you know, I go to a lot of Comic-Cons, and at Comic-Cons there's always new novelists or new comic book writers that are there with the book. You see them there. Sometimes, yeah, they're stood there, nobody's coming because they've never heard of this guy, this book. But then there's always someone who goes, oh, what's that over there? It's a horror book. That's something you should look into, because you get to think of it like this. Yes, it's all good to online, but you go to, there's horror cons. There are literally horror conventions.
Yeah.
Do you not think that if there's 5,000 people there, how many thousand people might want to read your book because they like a bit of horror? Every single one of them, because they're there for horror. So
with horror, there's so many different horrors, you know, and someone might say they like horror, like obviously we like horror, but there's so many different sort of like sub horrors of horror as a general, and you might like one but you might not like the other. So like there's, you know, you've got the horror with the ghosts, for example, but some people might not like paranormal horror. And you've got atmospheric horror, was a lot of the sort of thing that I like to write. I like to bring the atmosphere into the story and it be its own character, bringing the plot forward as its own character.
The monster isn't really there; it's the feeling.
Or is it, you know, is it inside you? Is it, you know, it's the psychological horror? And then you've got, you know, slashers. You've got the extreme horrors, you know, the Saw type things. You've got the cosmic horror, sci-fi, can be horror. There's so many different avenues, and I just think that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
genuinely, I'm gonna have a look at this. I'm gonna find out when the HorrorCon is. Even if right, might have to let Sam know. I'm gonna have to take a Saturday afternoon off in the summer. You have to square that off for me. But we'll have a look, and we'll figure out if there's a HorrorCon. If we can do something, I can reach out to a few people I've got know as well. Get you there to go do something, or me and you go. We'll go together. I'll take you there. I'll come down because you've never been to one. But I'm assuming you've never been to a HorrorCon before.
No.
But again, my cousin goes to these all the time, and it's fascinating. I've never been to a HorrorCon myself, but I'm like, yeah, because I generally go to an all-round con because I just as much as I want to see horror, I want to see Batman as well. I want to see all the different things going on. But HorrorCon, like, he comes back and he's getting pictures with Robert England's and Chucky dolls, and they've got all the stuff. I'm like, yeah, let's go see that. So, honestly, I think we go there, even if you can't get a stand, because we figure out that. Take a few copies of it. We'll get a T-shirt made of your book, a few business cards. That's all it takes. People, you know horror? I'll stand there. My friends write a book. Have a look at this. It's what we do when we go to the cons. We've got our talks. We've got our this. I go to like when me and Jacob went to WWE at Wembley. I could have worn any of my favourite wrestlers' T-shirts, but I wore our T-shirt and I wore our belt because there's 16,000 people in Wembley that like wrestling.
Yeah.
They've seen one guy walking around with not a WWE belt, and they go, you see people go,
yeah.
and I fascinated of turning around as they walk past me and looking at them, seeing them on their phone. Gotcha. It's a simple thing. It's just if you see a HorrorCon, well, hang on. How do I sell a few things? It's just what people see. There you go. So I've got so many ideas for you, Chelsea. I'm going to push you up here. We'll get you up there. But I think that will be, honestly, I'm desperate to now to have a look and see when their one is. But again, why would that not benefit you?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you'd have such a great time because it's horror.
Oh, yeah.
You're not only going to get to see stuff that you want to see, but you might find 5 new people that read your book, 10 new people. You don't know how many people are going to be there.
No, that is true. That is true. I'd love to go to one of them. I think that's so interesting as well. Seeing the different things from the different movies, the books. I love it. I love it so much.
If Sam's not willing to go, right, once we've finished here, I'll have a look. Once we've finished recording, I'll find one. Me and you'll discuss this. Yeah, we'll go see. That'd be such a laugh, wouldn't it? I've got my little microphone. We can make content all day.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I mean, if they're big over here, when you go to America, look out for one.
To be fair, yeah.
Oh.
God, I bet they will be as well.
I'm gutted because, as far as I'm aware, like someone like Robert England has now said he's not going to be doing Freddy anymore, and he won't be dressing up as Freddy. He'll come with the glove and he'll wear the hat, but he's not going to do the full makeup. But I've got a couple of friends who've got pictures of him in full makeup. It's like, oh, I wish I'd have gone.
No.
Just a picture of Robert England holding me with that glove. Oh, I need to watch a good horror tonight, I think, Chelsea. This is why I wanted to have this conversation. So, back to it. What is Chelsea Knight reading now?
I'm actually reading. I'm actually obsessed with this book I'm reading at the moment. I'm trying to take it slow because I don't want it to end, but also I want to finish it. I'm reading Pen Pal at the moment.
Okay.
It's a horror. Sorry, let me try and find the author it's from. Oh, I think it's fantastic. Honestly, it's so good. No, it's just gone straight to my Kindle page. But it's so good. It's written in a sort of like a diary style, but it's not. So he narrates it to you and says, basically, this is basically what's happened in my life. I know the full story now, but I'm going to give it to you in snippets of how I discovered it through the different ages. So it goes back from when he was like in kindergarten, which baffles me because I don't remember nursery, but kindergarten, and then when he's 6, and then when he's 10, then when he's 8, then when it's, it bounces about. But as you find new information, the stories, the bits between the stories make more sense.
Start linking.
Oh no, of course that happened. Honestly, literal goosebumps reading this story, because it takes a lot for a book to scare me. I love horror, and I will read horror forever. But it takes a lot for me to go, I kind of want to turn the lights on. And this book is doing that to me.
Yeah.
And
Oh, nice. Yeah. Because you used to read. It's what you're used to reading, is it? That you get a bit of like immunity to things that are scaring you. Because there's a difference between a book and making you feel it, and like a TV, like a film where they can do a jump scare.
Yeah, you can't.
It's harder to do a jump scare in a book. Yeah, but
he writes really well. There's a very few books that make me feel that way, but this one, Stolen Tongues did it as well, and Rotten Tommy, that scared me.
Oh, do you know? I don't know why it's made me think of it, but I know. I'm sure we mentioned it. Have you read the Shining series?
I've not read it. No.
Something I mean, I've never watched the Shining film as much as I know the bits. I know the bit where he comes through. He's very, here's Johnny. I know that bit, and I know the basis of it. But it was when Doctor Sleep, the book, come out, that I become like an obsession of, I want to read this. I want to read The Shining first. Then the film came out, Doctor Sleep, and I still haven't watched it because I'm like, I keep saying I'm going to read, but because they're such big books, it's like I know how long it takes me to read. I mean, that Stand By Me book, it's a short story, really, but I'm like a month into reading it because it's finding the time to sit and just go have a good read. Whereas something like The Shining, I go, if I'm going to dedicate myself to that, the way I'm reading books at the moment, that's going to take about a year to get through.
Yeah. See, I really like dark romances as well, and there's a book called Haunting Adelaide, and they're like 600-page books, and it's sitting at me and it's staring at me on my shelf, and I'm thinking, that's a big, do you know what I mean? That's a commitment that I need to make, and I will, but not yet.
It's like a series. It's just like, got to find the right time, because there's like TV shows and that I love. There's so many, like The Boys. I'm behind on stuff like that because the general time I have to actually sit and watch TV is when I'm laying in bed so I'll put something on that I'm not going to mind falling asleep to, not something I'm going to have to wake up and go, fuck, what episode was I on? I've got to go back and figure out where I was. Doesn't matter. I've watched 4 episodes of Smallville last night. I've seen it a million times. I'll just pick up where I fell asleep to or whatever.
It's 9 you watch that, you put it on, it does its own thing while you're on your phone.
Yeah, comfort series, isn't it? Like stuff you've seen 100 times. I don't think I've ever actually finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, love it.
I've seen most of it, but I think I might have done. I don't. I think it's one. I've only ever watched it all the way through once, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because I was a late bloomer to it. I think I got into it after the clip of I Want It That Way got popular, because I could use that while DJing. And I do every single week. Yeah, the fact is that there are still people in the garrison that still go, hey! I'm like, everyone else goes, he's done this for fucking 3 years now.
I'll see it with you because I know it's coming.
Lindsay said it the other day when on Bank Holiday, she was like, some of the new guys are there, they've never seen you like that, and I was like, every time you were going to do something I know you were going to do, I was like, that's not good. You're fully prepared, that you know what I'm going to do during Mysterious Girl, that I'm going to do the whoa and do the I really need to get a new act
now next time.
Yeah, I've got to get a new act or I've got to find some new songs, Jill. So I've been playing the same stuff for ages. People keep asking me for artists at this point I've never even heard of. Like, have you? And they go, you don't know, I don't know, any of these artists. You don't know Fetty Flaps or something. I've never heard of them. Never heard of them.
Nick
Not my kind of music.
And I'd recorded it for the story. And as I was recording it, I was like, oh, this is a new song. Never heard of it. But everyone else seemed to have, so... No.
They come up to me now that every time they put stuff up in the screen on their phones, and that is my biggest bugbear, is when they put things up on the phone. Especially like you're like, I get it if you're like at the back and you're trying to get my, but you're right in front of me. Like you're at the DJ booth, you're gonna say. So what? I don't know if you've ever seen me do it. I take their phone off and I either go piss off, or I'm having a joke, and obviously I'll play you into all right, off on the screen, go away. Like, what are you being rude for? Me? Look, you're there. Have a conversation with me. You don't need to just throw your phone up. And then when I go, I don't know that song, look at me in pure disgust, because I'm sorry, I don't know every song that was ever existed. Can't you just play it? Wait, so hang on. You think a song that I've never heard of, an artist I've never heard of, I'm just going to have?
Yeah. But go on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, couldn't you put it on Spotify?
Oh,
Listen,
my God.
Don't tell the bosses this, but if I could just play Spotify, it'd be a lot cheaper on them. If they just had someone sitting there going, what song do you want on?
Yeah, quick look
It'd
at
be a
that.
lot cheaper night for them guys, trust me, but don't tell them that because I'm trying to make some money out of them. Oh, Chelsea, I could do this for hours with you. We've done nearly an hour. It's flown by.
Yeah, it has.
Is there anything, before we start looking at wrapping up, is there anything else you would like to talk about? Anything you want to promote?
Obviously, I've got my new book coming, and I'm not 100% sure when it'll be there, but I'm thinking autumn 2026 is going to be the time.
Perfect. So the best way for people to find out more about that is for you to tell them where they can find you.
They follow me on TikTok at Chelsea Writes Horror, and I post all my updates and my blogs in my daily life on TikTok.
Make sure you go give her a follow. Dead Things Grow Here. I'm going to point it out again. Like, listen, you can get a copy of this. You can get a copy of it in hardback as well, right? And that's the bit I'm gutted. I didn't realise there was a hardback version. You will not get what I've got, a signed copy, unless you come down to the Garrison, for example. Come see me in Chelsea. Come get your book signed by Chelsea. Come party to me playing the same music I play all the same time, but making the same jokes. Where can they get copies of that, Chelsea? It's on various ways of getting Dead Things Grow Here.
The most common one is Amazon, where you've got the ebook, the hardback, and the paper copy. Or you can get the paper copy through Waterstones or any online bookstore as well.
Exactly. Trust me, go check this book out. Keep an eye, go follow Chelsea, go watch her journey. This is still the beginning. We spoke about this, and you can probably tell I'm excited. Because why am I excited? Because I've not even started that book. I've just read the back of that book, and I've been around watching Chelsea release this book and see the excitement and seen the comments, the reviews, people that are saying, I've had people messaging me saying, I'm enjoying this book. When's the audio book? I need to listen to this book. It looks great. This is just the beginning of the journey for Chelsea, and I'm going to milk her for this as much as I can, right, all the way. And I've told her already I'm starring in the movie. There's going to be a contract. I'm going to be the professor of this book. That's Chelsea Knight. I'm Ryan. This is Talks with Dorks. Go check out the book, and we'll see you later. Chelsea, thank you.
Thank you.